Okay, welcome to our podcast. Today we are going to be talking about three topics: why is marriage good, objective truth, and what is good and bad. I am joined with my friend. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Valerie Malgar.
I'm Samantha V.
And I'm Samantha Alvarez. Wonderful, ladies. So our first topic is why is marriage good? And as you all know, marriage is a union between a man and a woman, leading into a beautiful life together, becoming one flesh or one body. Marriage isn't just a contract, but like a bond between two people. They will have to be willing to love and accept each other. Personally, I have no really like a good opinion or bad opinion about marriage because I've seen it both fail and successfully work. And like, although there's a bond between them, I believe that bond could change because sometimes people change over time and they're not used to that change. So they divorce or someone dies and you have to move on from that person because why are you gonna wait for them in the like till you die? So anyway, do my values do correlate with the church's view on marriage, like having true, genuine love of each other and being willing to spend the rest of your life with this person. Marriage is really good because it's beautiful, but it can also be like bad too because a lot of instances, like sometimes they could be abused or, you know, it's like something that we don't know what's going on. So marriage is good and bad. So can I have Samantha Alvarez speak on this topic? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna use like a little like a background information by the article Married Love and the Gift of Life by the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. And it states, as Kira said, marriage is much more than a contract that you sign. It's an agreement that is a lifetime for a man and a woman's love. They love and learn together equally and teach their kids to do the same thing. It also says uh, the church teaches that the sexual union of husband and wife is meant to express the full meaning of love, its power to bind the couple together, and its importance in its openness to new life. So it talks about how when men and women unite, it's the same thing as joining together in human dignity and using that blessing to have children. I would agree with this source because marriage is good if it is only done genuinely and some and if you want something to come out of it, such as love for a family. Marriage is something beautiful and great because it shows the real and true love you have for your partner and that you want it to be a bond that will last forever till death. I also agree that when you plan on getting married, you have to be committed and ready to. Same thing that goes for when you're getting into a relationship. You have to accept them and love them unconditionally. And I agree with that as well. I think that the Catholic Church has a really good and positive way of viewing marriage, though sometimes it not may always be like that because marriage sometimes doesn't always work out for everyone. And that is what the article explains. It just means that you weren't either committed or ever really deeply in love with the person, your partner, and that isn't what the Catholic Church encourages us to do. So I would say that marriage is good for society because um it keeps like our relationship lifelong, and it isn't the church's fault, it's your partner's fault if the marriage doesn't work out. So that's basically all I have to say. That was beautiful. I started crying. I'll have Valerie Melgar go next on this topic. Thank you very much, K-Rob. Appreciate it. Of course, of course. Valerie?
I agree with both Kara and Samantha because, like it says in Married Love and and the Gift of Life, marriage is a sacrament used by men and women to form a lasting bond of love and life in marriage. It doesn't only mean that like they're supposed to love each other because marriages don't always rely on love. Like how Carrie used an example of abusive marriages. It's not the church's fault, it's the people inside the church. Like, you shouldn't always blame marriage on the church.
That was an amazing statement. I agree with that. Yes, Valerie, that was beautifully spoken. I also agree with you. Oh, okay. Samantha Verosio, would you continue and end this section of the podcast?
Of course. So, in my opinion, in some cases, marriage is good because it's a lifelong commitment between spouses where they both love each other unconditionally and unselfishly. In this case, they would love the other and would be willing to do anything for the other. And I think that's a very good aspect of marriage. I also think if they have kids, in some cases, it would teach their children how to love and respect their future spouses and would set a good example of what a healthy marriage would look like. An example of that could be communication, because it does play a big part in any kind of relationship, like a marriage, a friendship, and others. So, yeah.
That was so beautiful. So we just concluded this. We'll move on to the next topic, which is what is objective truth? And um, when looking at truth, um, like truth describes how everyone has the right to believe their truth. But when it comes to the church, it is objective truth because it describes the world accurately. But I kind of disagree because the Bible does and say and describe the world accurately. Or like, no, I don't think it describes the world accurately. It because like there are so many things that are left to question in the Bible, like what about the dinosaurs? You know? And it kind of leaves like room for like questions like why. And I think that the church is um objective to the people who believe that the church is objective. But to the people who have a different religion, the Catholic Church isn't the true church because they're entitled to their own opinion, even if their opinion is wrong to our religion. And well, that's what makes the Catholic Church like a universal thing. But everyone's entitled to their own opinions, so this is just my opinion. Who would like to go next? Raise your hands. Okay, I'm gonna just pick somebody. Valerie Magwell, you're going next.
Oh,
Okay, that's my opinion, but I'll give this off to Samantha Alvarez. Okay, so to continue on what Kara's talking about, I'll use the article um um Catholic Magazine Online Edition Truth and Ice Cream. That's the article you used. Okay, yes, sorry, that's the article, guys. I was trying to look for it. So in the article, Truth and Ice Cream, it talks about the objective and subjective truth. When we say that Catholicism is true, it implies that the teaching of the Catholic Church accurately describes how life really is, as it states in the article. When people say that the Catholic faith is not true for them, even though it may be true for you, they have confused two different kinds of truth claims: subjective truth and objective truth. Subjective truth is based on feelings of the person who is stating the truth about their opinions. You say things on how you feel about a certain thing. When it is subjective, both sides can be right, even if they are different, because people may have different feelings about it. And that's what makes it subjective because it's the truth for you. the objective truth, sorry, is the truth for everyone. It means that it is truth no matter what or who is stating it, because that is just the nature and reality of it. It is the truth because it won't change, and it is that way no matter what. When people make claims about God or the Catholic Church teaching, they are true, but objectively, no matter how we feel about it, it will be true or false. As it says in the article, when someone says Catholicism is true for you but not for me, what he really means, or what they really mean, is that you think the faith is not true and they do not. I would say I would agree with this source because there are subjective and objective truths, though I would disagree with the universal or Catholic truth because it may not be like that for everyone. And I think that we should just respect that, just respect their opinions, because everybody has their own opinions. Our true facts may not be the same for them as well. And like I said, we should just respect that. And yeah, that was beautifully said. And I wouldn't say it any other way. So thank you, Sam, for sharing your opinion. No, thank you, Kara. Thank you so much. Of course, of course. So the next topic is going to be what is good and what is bad. And I'm gonna let Samantha Verosio talk about this one.
So what I think good and bad is that I think good is when you do something and something good in return will happen out of the action you did, and vice versa would happen if you did something bad will happen in return. I think these are just consequences of your own actions. So, in a way to tell what is good and what is bad is to think ahead on what you're planning to do and to just reflect on what could possibly happen from the action you're going to take.
Wow, that was so good. Valerie Melgar, do you have anything to say about this?
Yes, I do. I agree
Go
with
ahead.
Samantha Verosio. Oh, I agree with Samantha Verosio. However, I feel like good or bad also kind of connects with our objective truth, because it can honestly depend on what the other person believes, what is good or bad. Like, let's use Hitler as an example. Like, there's some people who followed him and thought what he did was good, but then like us normal people, we say that it's bad. So I think it honestly depends on what their truth is and what like they believe, basically their opinion. But I guess what is good and what is bad really depends on the person.
I would agree, and I'm glad you used Hitler as an example because he was a really good example of what people think is good and bad. So I'm glad you said that. Samantha Alvarez, do you have anything to say about this? Anything to add on? Um, Not necessarily, but I would just want to say that I do agree with Valerie that everyone has their own view on what is good and what is bad. And yeah, I agree. I'm so glad that we are all on the same terms. Thank you guys so much for coming to my podcast and being here with me. So, this is the
No
end of the
problem.
podcast. So, bye. Bye, you guys. Bye, you guys.